Good afternoon and welcome to K3V News. I'm Maithilee, and in today's news we're going to talk about trees, specifically relating to ecosystem services and how much we actually know about them. K3V's field correspondent Sruthi Dasika is interviewing Indiana residents at Turkey Run State Park today. Over to you, Sruthi.
What are ecosystem services?
Well, I imagine there's services that help you make sure the ecosystem's running properly or being managed the way it should be.
What do you think are the ecosystem services we get from trees?
Well, I mean, obviously they die, and so then the mulch helps to worms, grubs, like circle of life, right?
Also, they help to make
Well, oxygen. Okay, yeah.
trees use like oxygen.
Okay.
Ecosystem services you get from trees?
No.
Do you know what benefits you get from trees?
Like oxygen, maybe? Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't really know anything else.
Do you like trees?
No.
Nope. Okay. Why? Why do you not like trees?
They're dirty.
They're dirty.
Ever planted a tree?
Yes,
You did? What kind of tree was it, do you know?
a fluffy one.
Oh yeah? Did you like planting the tree?
Yeah,
You did? Would you plant a tree again?
yeah.
You would? So you like trees? Thumbs up.
My dinosaurs stay with me.
He wants his dinosaurs good.
Oh, okay, dinosaurs. Yeah, dinosaurs are great. Cool.
Good.
And what kind of tree are you wanting to plant in our yard right now?
An apple
Talking
tree?
a lot about
They're
that.
talking a lot about an apple tree.
Cool.
Great, I bet they can tell you all about apple
Oh,
trees.
trees
But yeah,
too.
you've been wanting to plant an apple tree in your backyard. And why?
Because we won't have to go to the grocery store for apples.
We wouldn't have to go to the grocery store for apples, that's right.
All right, thanks, Shruti. Wow, that was quite a range of responses. I think we have a good start. Simply put, ecosystem services are essentially the benefits that we derive from nature. These can be grouped into 4 broad categories: provisioning, regulating, supporting, and cultural services. Now I'll hand it over to our resident tree correspondent, RJ, to talk about the first 2 categories of ecosystem services. Over to you, bud.
I get an order of orange chicken, 2 orders of shrimp fried rice, and 2 egg
RJ?
rolls. Thanks, Mike. Well, someone or something, I should say, is stealing one of the most important gases crucial to life as we know it out of our atmosphere. I'm of course talking about carbon dioxide, and the culprit is, you guessed it, trees. Many of us can look outside our windows or walk down the street and see them carelessly blowing in the wind without thinking of what they're doing to our environment. Most of us think of trees as providers for foods like nuts and fruit, materials like wood, biofuels and oils, and even medicines. These are benefits that fall under the provisioning category of ecosystem services. In addition to these, trees also take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere in a process called carbon sequestration, which is important when talking about managing greenhouse gases and climate change. It falls under the category of regulating services, which are services that, regulate. They include moderation of extreme weather events by stabilizing slopes and preventing erosion, wastewater treatment by filtering out waste and acting as a buffer for the natural environment, and improvement of local climate and air quality through pollutant removal. They also provide shade and influence water availability. When we think about those benefits, our minds immediately shift to thinking about forests, but we can see that trees play the same critical role in every ecosystem, whether it be urban or rural or otherwise. So get out there and show your trees some love. Back to you, Mike.
All right, thanks, RJ. Now let's go over to Shruti to tell us about the last 2 categories of ecosystem services.
Thanks, Mike. The third category of ecosystem services is the cultural services. These are services that are tightly bound to human values. They differ among individuals or communities than the perceptions of, say, importance of food production. In India, trees have been given importance for cultural heritage, like this banyan tree, which is over 260 years old. It's also given importance for its spiritual or religious values, like the sacred Bodhi tree located inside a Buddhist temple, where Buddha attained enlightenment. Trees also provide intrinsic benefits including recreation, physical health, and mental well-being. Trees also increase property value up to 20%. They increase municipal revenue and bring in home buyers, workers, and attract retirees. It also promotes tourism. A survey was conducted along the Interstate 85. About 300 people were asked to rate the importance level of 5 specific factors attracting city tourism. More than 80% of the responses confirmed that city beautification is an important factor. Next, to find out what contributes to the city beautification, people were asked to rate each of the 11 alternatives on a scale of 1 to 5. The highest values were for streets or towns' well landscapes, city parks, and more green spaces. And hey, did you know that the City of London has more trees than people? We'll come back to it later. The last category of ecosystem services is the supporting services. And you may have guessed it, it's the services that support the other ecosystem services and impact us indirectly. Both plant and trees form the critical base of food chains in nearly all ecosystems. Through photosynthesis, plants provide food and habitat for other living organisms. Trees also play an important role in absorbing and cycling around 16 different nutrients from the air, soil, and water. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are obtained from carbon dioxide and water, while the other 30 nutrients are provided by soil and absorbed by tree roots. These nutrients will eventually be returned to the soil when the tree dies and decomposes. Further, trees also play a vital role in the water cycle. Through the process of transpiration, the leaves release water in the atmosphere. This moisture contributes to the formation of rain clouds, which release water back onto the trees. Coming back to what I said earlier about London, the city is home to over 8 million trees, most of which are more than 70 years old. The ecosystem services provided by London trees has been valued to 130 million euros a year. Here is a chart showing the monthly pollution removal by trees, and you can see how the city is significantly benefiting from trees. Back to you, Maith.
Thanks, Shruthi, and welcome to the studio, RJ. Hey, so what did you think about the residents that Shruthi interviewed with today?
Well, it seems like most of them talked about what we can get from trees rather than how we can give back to nature.
Right. And exactly, sadly, that's what happens when talking about trees, right? Or any ecosystem service for that matter. We think of it as a transaction. Usually we think of it as resources that we can extract from nature. But speaking of giving back, I wanted to talk to our K3V viewers today about an organization that is very special to my heart. Keep Indianapolis Beautiful is an environmental and community nonprofit with a mission to help people and nature thrive. For over 20 years, KIB has worked with neighbors and volunteers to plant trees, native landscapes, create community spaces, pick up litter, remove invasive species, you name it.
Yeah, I remember when we volunteered with KIB. It was pretty cool. I never knew so much went into planting a tree.
Exactly. It's definitely a very involved process, which is exactly why we want to share this video today with all of our K3V viewers who want to plant trees in their home.
How to properly plant a tree, from tree prep to mulching. When planting a tree, there are several steps that you can take to give your tree the best possible chance at living a long and healthy life. Prepping the tree. First, remove everything artificial from the tree. This includes ribbons, tags, twine, and any staking or support that came attached to the tree.
Thanks RJ and Shruthi for joining us today. From all of us here at K3V, I'm Maithilee, and thank you so much for listening today. Have a good day.